need it. Oh, okay. So right. So I have another one. So I'm going to go to the one that I was leaving out, the band that I was leaving out.
Okay.
What do you think it is?
It's got to be mint condition.
Of course it is.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
That's it. They came out with "Are You Free,"
Yeah,
which was
I listened to that today. Actually, they came on
a
my today.
disaster.
Are you free,
It's a
girl?
good song,
Yeah.
but nobody
Was that their
cared.
lead single? That was their lead single.
It was the first, right? Yeah, it was the first single. It was such a, it could have been such a fatal mistake because nobody cared. They
That
put it,
happens. That happens from time to time. I've seen that a couple times where somebody will release a single, and for whatever reason, it'll just slip through the cracks, and then that second one will just catch.
but it wasn't, the problem was it sounded like too many other things. It was just faceless. You didn't, like, in listening to that song, as good as I think it is, you don't get
Yeah.
a sense of who they are. But
Yeah.
nobody was ready for what came next.
Pretty
Nobody
brown
was
eyes.
ready for Pretty Brown Eyes.
Yeah.
Nobody. Like, that is like, it's so good. It's like a national anthem. Like,
Yeah. And you know what else I like
I
too?
was like, you're kidding me. Like,
Yeah.
this? Go
Yeah.
ahead. You were saying something. Go ahead.
I like Forever in Your Eyes too. That one was really.
Yes. With the
Yeah.
sax intro.
Yeah. You know what I heard? This is somebody told me this not too long ago. They said that at one point Tony recruited Stokely to replace Sadiq after he left the group.
They did. They wanted him and he wouldn't go. He said no.
Yeah, when was this? When did this happen?
This was right after Raphael left.
So about late 90s, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it was late 90s. They wanted him and he said no.
Yeah, because he was still making condition was still doing really good at that point. So it would have made no sense for him to bounce like that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, he's had other offers to do other things even since then, and he said no to every last one of them. He
Yeah,
just won't
and
leave in condition.
he has a very similar voice to Sadiq, so that would have been perfect.
Oh yeah, he sings in the exact same register. He's a high tenor, just like Raphael was, and still
Yeah,
is.
and I want to see I want to see the IG battle. Like I want to see that one. Got to see.
The internet would melt.
Yeah, yeah.
But okay, so they had that record, and that had "Forever in Your Eyes" and "Pretty Brown Eyes" and a couple of other things too. And then they released the next record from the Mid Factory that had "You Send Me Swinging" on it,
Yes,
which was
yes.
complete and total fire again. The rest of it's so good that I have the record and I don't remember the rest of it. It escapes me. Then they did, what was it?
Someone to Love.
But that was on, that's right, that was on that record, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, Someone to Love. Yeah.
Yeah, that was on that record. That's right. But then they did, oh, help me, Dre.
So fine, I think.
Don't Get Old. No, the record after, the album after, from the Mid Factory.
Oh, Definition of a Band.
Yeah, that was it. That was it.
Yeah, Definition of a
My
Band.
brain was stuck on Diary of a
Yeah,
Mad Band, and that's Jodeci.
yeah.
Yeah. Definition of a Band that had what was it?
Oh,
The ballad.
what kind of man would
What
I
kind of
be?
man would I be? Yeah.
It, you know what's so funny about that? That was it's a really well written song too, because I don't think a lot of people were really talking about, like, you hear songs about people doing this and being promiscuous, but this
Yeah.
guy was struggling. They were struggling with that. Like he wanted to be an honest man.
It's like, what would you do if you were in my shoes?
Yeah, like he
It's
was
that kind of tune.
yeah, it was like one of those where like he was having a breakdown of communication with whoever he was with.
Yeah.
This other girl, whatever, and he was at that point, like, man, like, I feel really bad because what I'm doing. I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be in this position right now. And he's kind of talking about how he's being tempted, but it's like he's battling his conscience or whatever. You know what I mean? And you weren't seeing a whole lot of that, back then. You still don't see a whole lot of that now, actually.
No, you don't.
I mean, we've had a few songs since then that are kind of along those lines, but that was one of the first I can recall. Yeah, I really like that. I love I mean, obviously the melodies and instruments, but I just love the lyrics to that song in particular. So
Yeah, I agree. And important to note too that up until this point, they were pretty much, though they had Jam and Lewis producing on that first record, it was pretty much still their sound.
yeah,
They weren't dependent on and we all know what the Jam and Lewis sound was at that point. They didn't have that sound. They just sounded like themselves, and it was
yeah, Yeah.
It's certainly by mid factory and definition of a band, they didn't even have Jam and Lewis in the studio with them. They didn't need them. What do they need them for? Like, they had their own sound. They were completely and totally self-contained the entire time, pretty
Yeah.
much. And so then, of course, that record goes by, and then something happens to Perspective, because they were on Perspective A&M, which was Jam and Lewis's label.
Yeah.
That label dissolves, and then they get picked up by Sylvia Rowan over at Elektra Records, and then they release the greatest record they've ever released, called Life's Aquarium.
If You Love Me.
If You Love Me. Where do we begin on that album? They had If You Love Me,
Pain or Pleasure was really
Pain
good.
or Pleasure,
Yeah.
This Day, This Minute, Right Now, which is one of the greatest ballads I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
Like Anyone at Any Time, Just the Man for You.
Yeah.
What else? Who Can You Trust? Be Like That Sometimes. Like, dude, like, that's not bad for a record. Like, and I'm sure I'm missing something. It's just jam after jam after jam. They never got it so right again.
Yeah. Well, I remember they took a hiatus too. I think. I think they had a couple people leave the group and had to replace them. And they had
It was Carrie. Carrie left.
Yeah, I'm Ready was a pretty solid hit too. That came out in what, 2005.
And Whoa.
Yeah, whoa, yeah, they were one of those rare groups that started off in the early '90s that were able to maintain the longevity. It's kind of perfect too, because in the early 2000s you started to see R&B kind of to branch off into two different things. It was mainstream R&B, and you had the Quiet Storm stations that were popping up all over the country.
Yeah.
And it gave a lot of these old school acts, these early '90s acts, an avenue, a lane, a platform. And at that mid-condition, they really, really benefited from that.
Yeah, they did. And it's not like they charted heavy, but they had enough. They could.
Yeah.
They were able to sustain themselves off of like what you were saying, or like they got a lot of play on like Howard University radio here.
Yeah.
It's kind of like adult R&B.
Yeah.
And they were able to run their careers off of it, and still can, even to this moment.
Yeah.
And they haven't released a record in a couple of years now, but
yeah, Stokely's gone solo, but yeah.
And Stokely went solo.
Yeah.
Which
he's killing it.
Still
killing it. You don't like Sheep?
Not really.
Really?
Level is okay.
I love that song.
I'll have to. This is the first time we're disagreeing, by the way, on music. I love it.
Man, I love that song.
I'll tell you what. I'll do myself a favor. I'll listen to it again. Maybe I'll feel different. I haven't heard it in a while.
Okay.
But Level was okay, but it was like, where is Stokely in this? It just felt very faceless to me.
Yeah, I remember Level. Yeah, I have it, but it's not my favorite. But I was blown away by She though. I love that song.
Okay, I'll have to try again on She then. If you like it that much, then I need to try again. Maybe, who knows? Maybe maybe the reason I don't like it is purely circumstantial. It happens that way.
Yeah, because there's stuff I'll listen to it, and I'm just gonna be like, whatever, and then I'll listen to it again, like maybe a month later or a year later, and I'm just like, where the hell was I at?
Yeah, true. Yeah. Stuff can kind of get you like that. I agree. I've had that happen myself too.
Yeah.
But I mean, Mint Condition is just hits it out of the park forever and always, but never more so than they did on Life's Aquarium. And that was released in '99. Yeah. And that's my favorite record of theirs, and one of my favorites of all time. That's how good I think it is. So next.
Intro.
What else you got? Yes. I was hoping somebody would say that. Yes, that's on my list.
Yeah.
I can't say that now either.
Let Me Be the One.
Yeah. I
love that song, man. I don't know what. There's certain songs that just do something to you, and that's one of them.
I have to tell you though, I'm deeply offended that the first song that you didn't mention.
Talking about the Stevie Wonder cover.
How could you not mention that as the first thing?
Yeah. You know what's so crazy about that too? I remember I've listened to it plenty of times before, and I don't know why, but I would turn it off halfway through or would go on to the next song. So I used to. And then from one day, I just let it play through. I don't know what I was doing. I was busy doing something. I let it play through.
I don't even know you anymore. How could you? I don't understand. Like, the first time I heard it, this was another one of those things where I was driving in the car, and I heard just the beginning of it. Ding. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice. I didn't hate it.
I was done, and then I heard Kenny Green start to sing.
Yeah, that was the part.
Remember, I was on a very busy road. I almost had an accident. This is a problem.
The second half of that song blew me away. Like I don't.
The first half did it too. Come on,
The
bro.
first half was good, but that second half is really what got me.
He said the first half was good. What is wrong with you?
Nah, but the second half though was
Come
the second
on,
half
bro.
takes you. That second half though was really just.
Oh, agreed. But the first half's just as good.
Yeah, but it was good because it felt like it was it live though. It felt like they had a band in there or something.
No, it wasn't. It's all machine. Everything.
Okay,
At that point.
but
It's
it
all.
felt like it could have been a band or something. But yeah, that second half,
He sang the fool out of it.
he made
My
it his own. They made it their own.
gosh, I think it. See, I always thought that was probably just him, overdubbed a bunch of times. It sounds like
It
that.
sounded like there was two people singing, unless they had another. I don't
You
know.
heard two?
Hmm?
There were three of them.
Yeah, so unless another guy wasn't, nah, they must have dubbed it because you can't do that with three people.
They used to do that a lot. If they had a group, they would take the group into the studio and just use one of the singers and overdub them again and again. That's
You know
not
what you? I
unusual.
mean, if like,
New
yeah, but I
Edition
mean,
did that all the time at the end. On
yeah,
Heartbreak, that's basically all Ralph on backgrounds.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, man, intro. I loved Love Thing. That was really nice. That they sampled the brand Nubian song. Really
Mm-hmm.
loved it. Yeah, intro, man. They were one of those groups. They were really heavily influenced by Jodeci as far as like their look. You know, you look at their album cover.
Everybody was at that point, though.
Yeah, they look like you had like your intro. You had Silk, H Town, all these groups. They were running.
H Town was a lot like
Yeah.
intro in
Oh
that
yeah.
sense too. They were all very rough, rugged, and raw.
Yeah, and I was becoming the thing. You know, it's you know, Jodeci kind of get off subject a little bit. They didn't sell as big as Boys to Men,
We
but they
gotta let's hold on to Jodeci though.
okay.
Jodeci is its own thing. We don't want to
All
rip
right,
from
all right.
Jodeci because it's
Okay.
on my list and I'm sure it's on
Okay.
yours too.
Yeah.
But but intro had and then okay, I don't listen to this song anymore because it's dirty. But Come Inside.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was like an 8-minute song or something like that.
The end of it though, the vamp,
Yeah. Yeah.
dude, they're having sex on the record. Like
Yeah. And again, well, we'll talk about that, but
I
that was also
promise I don't listen to it anymore, but
yeah.
my gosh, the harmonies.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
Yeah. Intro, man. And they had another album that came out a couple years later.
I
But
was just about to go there, but since you picked it, continue.
yeah, I don't really. I'd have to go back and give it another listen because I don't remember. I don't really listen to that very often.
Dude, it
Yeah.
had let me help you. It had What You Won't Do for Love on it, the Bobby Caldwell song,
Yeah. Okay, I remember that one. And there
which was produced by the Neptunes.
yeah, but
Before they were called the Neptunes. It was produced by the Neptunes.
yeah, but I don't really remember. I need to go back and give that second album a look.
And it also had I only remember one other song. It also had Somebody Loves You on it, which was the last song on the record,
Okay.
which is fire. It's so good.
Huh. Yeah, I'd have to go back and listen to that again because I don't recall a lot of the second album.
If you start feeling down,
Yeah.
lift your head up.
And it's unfortunate because I think the lead singer he passed away back in 2001. I think.
He contracted AIDS and passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one hurt. I remember hearing about that. I'm like, dang, the music he could have made because he could sing his face off, and he wrote for Mary J. Blige too.
Did he? What song did he? You remember what song he did?
Love No Limit.
Okay. Yeah.
Man, he wrote Love No Limit for her.
Did he do the remix too, or is that somebody else?
Yeah, he wrote the remix too. Yeah.
I like the remix more than the original.
Same, agreed. I'm not a huge Mary J. Blige fan at all, but I'm sorry.
What?
There are some
crap,
things.
man.
There are some things, but like My Life is great.
Yeah.
Because it samples Everybody Loves the Sunshine by Roy Ayers.
Man, and the original is a masterpiece.
Oh gosh. The synth line though. You kidding me? But who knows what it's about? Who cares? But
yeah,
the
I don't
groove
care.
is just
You just get you listen to it, you close your eyes, you get lost in it. That's all you're supposed to do.
that's what Roy Ayers music is good for. Just close your
Yeah.
eyes and go there with it.
Yeah.
But and I have so much of his stuff. Love acid jazz. But he's just a giant groove. Like the songs are not even always there, but the grooves are there. He's much more groove based than song based.
Yeah.
But Mary turned that into a song. Like My Life is a great song. Or No More Drama's good. I do like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like a man.
All That I Can Say,
Yeah.
because it's Lauryn Hill.
I'm gonna tell you what Mary J. to get off subject a little bit. A song that I really love.
Real Love.
She did a song with Rafi Sadiq. You ever heard it?
What's it? Remind me.
Oh man, what's I
I'm
can't.
old.
I think you are my everything. It came out in what album was it that she dropped in 2006? What was the name of that album that she came out with in 2006? I think it was a single, but
I have to look now.
she has a song there with Rafi Sadiq, man, that just blew me away. Really, really, so has like an old school '60s gospel kind of feel to it.
I've got my tablet in front of me and I'm cheating because who cares? Where's her discography? There it is. So you said 2006, either The Breakthrough or Growing Pains. One of those two.
The Breakthrough.
Is it The Breakthrough?
Yeah, and there's a song in there called "You Are My Everything," and it features Rafi Sadiq.
No, I Found My Everything.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, my bad.
Same thing. I
Yeah,
get you.
yeah.
I've never heard it, honestly.
Yeah, when you get a chance to listen to it, it has like a really soulful, like late, like '60s, '70s type of gospel feel to it.
Okay. I'll do
Yeah.
it. She Had Not Gonna Cry, too, by the way, from Waiting to Exhale, which is good.
That whole soundtrack can be
really good. Yes, the whole thing, for real.
That man, I always between my favorite movie soundtrack, it's got to be between that and Above the Rim, but that was more of a hip hop thing. But those two,
that was good.
Yeah, those are my favorite. Those two soundtracks right there, man. But Waiting to Exhale had the only people missing from that were what, Janet Jackson and Mariah Carey, but it had everybody else on there. You know, Toni Braxton was on there.
Every other woman who mattered, yeah.
Yeah, Aretha Franklin was on there. Brandy was on there. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, sitting up in my room, yeah.
Love that cut.
Yeah, and then Whitney Houston and CeCe Winans Count on Me with Shantae Moore in the background, and you didn't know it, like.
Yeah, Whitney, especially the ending when they're both kind of trading off, going.
Yeah, yeah, that song is so
man.
Fire. Why Does It Hurt So Bad?
That was who was that? Whitney, was it?
That was Whitney.
Okay, that's right. Yeah. Well, who was it? Aretha Franklin was Hurts Like Hell.
Yeah. There was a lot of hurting in that movie, so it had to show up in songs.
Yeah, man, that soundtrack was fire though.
It really was. Yeah, my mom bought it for me.
Oh,
she didn't know what she was buying, of course, but
yeah,
she heard it coming out of my bedroom. She found out real quick. She liked Exhale, actually. She liked Shoop Shoop a lot.
That's either that or I Got Nothing, or three of them, because I liked You Give Good Love too. So yeah, we'll have to talk about solo acts. We'll have to talk about 80s music,
I know we can't do this. We're gonna be I knew we would do this. We're gonna be here all night. I knew we would do this. This is a problem because that's my favorite Whitney song of all time. She never did better than that.
Yeah.
Dre, don't. I want to too, bro. We can't.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Oh wait, I think it's your turn. It is your turn. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go for man. I can name a billion groups, man. I love them all, but
I was trying. I'm gonna go for. You wanted to stick to 10, so we're sticking to 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for another lesser known. Well, I mean, they were pretty known. They had a couple hits, but they didn't really last long. Soul for Real, loved Candy Rain. Candy Rain, man. I remember where I was when that song first came out.
He went there, kids.
That was like the national anthem for elementary school kids that had like Puppy Love or whatever, man. That song right there was, if you were in middle school or elementary school during that time, clapped. That song clapped.
It did, yeah.
They sampled the Minnie Riperton, track. Tribe Called Quest sampled that as well. I can't do the song that
You're on my mind.
Yeah,
Every little thing I do, you're on my mind.
Well, yeah. That was they sampled the Gap Band on that. Yeah, that was
yeah. Yes, see, that's another one. The Sideways.
Yes.
They did the Sideways thing on it.
You're on. Yeah. Soul for Real, man. And they have a little piano interlude at the end of the album too, where they introduce themselves. That was really good too. I don't know why I've always liked that.
Yeah, that was a cool idea. Yeah. I had that record. I don't know if I have it anymore, but I did have it.
Soul for Real, man. And they were on the Breakfast Club a couple years ago with Charlotte and DJ Envy.
Really?
Yeah, they were on there. Check it out when you get a chance.
Yeah, I will. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they were on there.
Because they're old like us now.
Yeah. I mean, they were like, I think the youngest one was Chase. He was 15 at the time, I think. And like in their late teens, early 20s. But
yeah,
a couple of them had got in trouble, got arrested for like tax or fraud or something like that.
Oh,
back
man.
years ago. But Yeah, they were. I don't know what happened. Something happened between them and Heavy D because he's the one who discovered them. Um,
Yeah, he
don't-
was running a career. Yeah,
yeah, I mean they kind of blame him. I don't know exactly what happened, but
it
it's
must be money. It's
yeah,
always money.
yeah, and they're saying that he kind of went away. He kind of neglected them on their second album. It didn't get much promotion. I think Puff Daddy worked on their second album or some of the stuff on their second album, and they were
Oh,
yeah, and they were saying how um Puffy wanted to sign them, but they were under Heavy D's label, so he couldn't really do nothing with them. And this is interesting too. 112 came out a year after them, right? And they did that, they did the song with Biggie and Mace. Was it Only You?
I
And
know where you're going. Yeah,
a lot of people thought that was so for real at the time.
you have to wonder if any of those things were meant for them. Because I heard the same
Exactly.
thing that you did, and it's interesting too because they were on the same label. I mean, Soul for Real and they were Diddy and Heavy D were the same label pretty much.
Yeah,
It's
I
just that
think, but
Diddy was
heavy.
interning from Uptown at that point.
Yeah, yeah. So because I think Puffy, because I remember they were saying how they had a convo with Puffy, and Puffy would say, "Man, if I had you guys sign this, what I would do with you guys, I would do this and do this and do this." And so I kind of wonder, I kind of wish that would have happened because I think
And
they
he
could.
would have been right because he had the hot hand at that point.
Yeah, that was what 96, 90. Yeah, when they
Yeah,
the second album did nothing. But I mean, if they would have been under him, I really think they could have took off.
the
They could.
career would have continued for sure. I
Yeah,
agree.
I mean, and I think they could have had at least another, 2 or 3 albums that could have gone platinum under Puffy.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because they need. I mean, you can't like the sound that they had is very much of that second,
Yeah.
and it worked for that second. But you have to keep moving forward, and uh, Puff Daddy knew how to move forward at that point, and that's what they needed.
Yeah, and so, but yeah, I like that album a lot. There's another one
Mm,
that called all like was it All in My Mind? I think that was the third single.
yeah,
That was really good too. I like their sound. Like obviously there were groups that were better than them, but I always liked their particular sound though. I like their singles and they
yeah.
even
They had a sound. They weren't great singers, but they had a sound.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they did a remake of Bill Weathers' Ain't No Sunshine that was decent on that
Hmm.
first album. Yeah. Yeah. Sucks it didn't, after that first album, they just kind of disappeared. It happens a lot in the music industry, unfortunately. But
It was this time period. They were just dropping like flies. There were just too
yeah,
many of them. There needed to be a thinning of the herd, and a lot of them paid for it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
So, I mean, we won as listeners, but because one would drop and be replaced by another one that was a lot like it. So
yeah, yeah,
we didn't miss much. So, but yeah, dude, they were so good.
yeah,
Um, Another one I've got here, we kind of threatened it already, but let's go there, Jodeci.
yeah, yeah. I don't think there's within the last 25 years or 30 years. I mean, they really pushed R&B forward. They discovered didn't Devonta he discovered Timbaland, Magoo, Genuine. He
Well,
discovered.
Devonte started off in Virginia Beach.
Okay.
Um, and from there, he had a collective, for lack of a better term, called Swing Mob. And in Swing
Yeah.
Mob, he picked up Timbaland, he picked up Missy, he
Yeah.
picked up
Missy Elliott.
Playa, he picked up Genuine, he had
Yeah.
Tweet, he had
And,
all of this under one roof.
and Missy actually she was in an R&B group called
Sister,
yeah.
yeah,
And
brand new.
and Timberland produced that song.
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
hear early Timberland, go back and listen to that record.
Oh, I
Yeah,
have it.
yeah, I do too. Yeah, but
Of
it's
course, I have this. I got the single when it came out, and then I grabbed the
yeah,
record too.
and you can tell it's Timberland too. It's completely Timberland, but it has like a more of an early '90s sound before he really blew up. A couple years before he blew up, but yeah, Devonta he really pushed the sound forward. And then as I was alluding to earlier, right after that, Silk came out, H Town, Intro. All these groups came out and they were kind of rocking the baggy jeans, kind of the hip hop look. And Jodeci kind of started all of that.
Well, but that was Puffy.
Oh well, yeah,
Puffy was in marketing at Motown, and he's the one
yeah,
that decided how they should look, and he did that. That was all him.
yeah. And like I said, Boys to Men completely outsold them. Jodeci was, I mean, it was 1A to 1B or whatever you want to call it. But record sales, Boys to Men kind of blew them out the water a bit. But
Are we ready to have this conversation?
No, I'm not saying which one is better, but I'm just saying,
Because I think we should have this conversation. I'm ready to have this
hey,
conversation.
we could do it. We can do it. I love them both. I mean,
This is a good conversation to
yeah,
have.
I go back and forth between the two groups all the time, man. To me, they're like the Beatles and Rolling Stones of R&B. The Beatles were more they were so wholesome.
Mhm.
They're the guy you bring home to dinner to meet your mom and your dad. Jodeci, they were the guys you snuck out the house for, you climbed out the window. There was such a contrast in style, man, but they both dominated the R&B charts. Um, I don't, man, like I can go on forever. You know, like I said, Boys to Men, they were more of an extension of the groups before them. Like, you know, in the '60s, they kind of had that wholesome, you know, the wholesomeness to them.
Doo wop derived.
Yeah, you know, they were like an extension of those groups that came before them. But Jodeci, man, they completely took it and they just pushed it forward. I mean, yeah, like Drew Hill, heavily influenced by Jodeci.
Don't go there yet. Hold it.
Okay,
Hold
yeah,
your Hill.
yeah, but you know, like I said, Intro, Silk, H Town, all these other R&B groups, man, they were definitely influenced by Jodeci. Just to, you know, just the subject, they were more raunchy. You
They
know,
could be, yeah. They
yeah,
got
they were.
more raunchy later. They weren't raunchy at the beginning, but they
Well,
got there later.
they showed signs of it even on the first album, the Come and Talk to Me remix. Kind of,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, they really got raunchy on that one.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, Casey and JoJo were, you know, they complemented each other really, really well. Davin was always kind of in the background, but
He was
yeah,
just the one that looked good, but he could play.
yeah,
He was a good drummer.
yeah. And Jodeci, man, they were just hip hop embraced them.
Oh, completely. They belonged to R&B and hip hop.
Yeah, exactly. They were kind of,
But
yeah,
Boys to Men tried to belong to everything. Like they were Boys to
they
Men
were more
was
pop. They were more
Boys
pop
to Men
than,
was much more a marketing trick.
yeah. But them boys can sing though.
No,
They,
no, no, like no shade. Of course they
yeah,
can, but they were more like because obviously Michael Bivins
hmm,
from BBD and New Edition signed them, and he went, okay, this is what we're gonna do, and they felt like a marketing plan, like a
yeah,
real
yeah, yeah.
well executed marketing plan. And Jodeci never felt like that to me. Jodeci
No,
just felt like they're good and you're going to pay attention, and we
yeah,
did.
yeah,
They didn't feel quite so put together, quite so orchestrated, though they probably were. It just didn't feel that way.
yeah, yeah. But I
And
think,
two, I mean, can you let's be real here for a minute. Like the Forever My Lady record, right?
mhm.
Has there ever been a more potent first half of a record than Forever My Lady?
For my lady, come and talk to me, stay.
Stay,
I'm still
Forever My
waiting.
Lady, Come and Talk to Me,
I'm still waiting. I think
I'm Still Waiting was number
you
4,
and
You
I.
and I.
Yeah, yeah,
That's the first half of the record. The second
yeah.
half of the record, we don't care about. At least I know I don't.
Well, I think the second half was more. They tried to kind of dabble into New Jack Swing,
It was fast.
but that wasn't really their thing, though.
No, we didn't want it. No one cared.
Yeah,
We all bought that record and listened to the first 5 songs.
yeah, yeah. But man,
And
yeah,
we
that
can't call to mind the other 5 tracks, but those first 5,
yeah.
come on. There's no Boys to Men is wonderful, but they've never had a record that powerful in
I
my
will say this though.
honest opinion.
I like two a lot. Um,
But see, that's another one that I don't mean to cut you off, but that's another one. This is they were trying to make Thriller. They wanted to make a record that appealed to everyone. So they had this
and
song
they
for
did, but
this.
they did though. Obviously not to the scale of Thriller, but I mean that's that.
But the problem is it felt like that. Like I'm not as big a fan of Thriller as I am of Off the Wall, FYI. But
No, yeah, I'm not
Thriller,
either.
but it felt, see, most of us aren't, but it felt
Yeah,
like two felt like it just felt so agonized over and poured over, and we're going to put
really.
this, and they recorded so many songs for it that you'd never heard.
See,
um,
yeah,
a lot of stuff ended up on the cutting room floor. They did a few things with Brian McKnight that ended up on the cutting room floor. I
yeah,
have a couple of those things. Fallen is a great song.
yeah. Because I
uh,
remember him and Wanye, man. They tore the roof off the place, man.
with
Wanye,
Let It Snow, they did Let It Snow
yeah, that one too.
and
Yeah, but
nailed.
yeah, I don't know, man. I like two a lot, man. I like because Babyface, man. He was on that. But they just had
But there was also, remember, there was, I mean, I can't imagine how big the bill must have been on that record, because they had Tony Rich on it, they had Babyface on a bunch of things, they had Jam and Lewis on it.
I think Dallas Austin was on Thank You. I think he produced that one.
Dallas Austin did, but he didn't do anything else because he didn't want to be in there with them anyway. He doesn't.
Yeah, because I remember he was on
He
Vlad
called them
TV.
colorful names and didn't want to
Yeah,
have anything to do with them anymore.
Yeah, he was on Vlad TV, and because he produced most of the first album, and he said
He produced the whole thing except for the last couple
yeah.
of the tracks. Yeah.
And he said the first album they were a joy to work with. They were humble, they were nice,
Yeah.
and the second album, and you couldn't tell them nothing. You know,
They lost their minds.
and which happens a lot to people. You know, you're making all this money, you're that successful, you're what were they, early 20s maybe?
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
everybody gets full of themselves at some point.
Sure. I mean, it could happen to anybody, but
Yeah.
still, I mean, even at that, he still left him with an absolute banger. And thank you.
Yeah.
So
And I'm gonna share another song on that album that I don't know why, but it should have been released as a single. 50 Candles.
true.
Yeah.
True.
I don't know.
But everything was a single. You could take anything off that record. I Sit Away could have been a single.
All Around the World.
All Around the World.
Yeah.
Well, okay, maybe not that. Because it's self-congratulatory, ego-driven nonsense.
Yeah.
It's come on, bro. Like I heard it the first time and I was like, y'all are tripping right now. Like
Yeah.
this is not good energy.
Talking about all the cities they've been to and stuff.
Yeah, and there's a girl for every one of them, fly in every land. And like you are really teasing it out here, y'all. Like this is bad.
Yeah.
But Jezebel.
Yeah. Wait, which one was
Move for days on Jezebel. Like
Vibin'?
Vibin' is another one.
Have you heard the remix to that though?
Yes.
But that was more and Boyz II Men, they really weren't hip hop oriented or nothing like that. But that song was hip hop, man. Busta Rhymes, Method Man was on there. I think Redman.
Yeah, I remember. That song is fire, and the remix to "Thank You" too. By the way, the Moog Flavor remix.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, the acapella was good. Yes, of course it was. But
what about the I Remember remix?
Say again.
Did you ever hear the I Remember remix?
I remember.
Yeah.
I don't know what you mean. You've lost me.
Yeah, there was a song in there called I Remember. It was supposed to be like a cover of a Beatles song, right? On the 2 album, but then they made a remix of that.
Oh, you mean
was it? Yeah, that was I Remember, I think.
In the Still of the Night.
No, that was before that. That was before 2, I think.
Do you mean Yesterday? Because that's the Beatles cover that they did on.
Okay, but there was another song called I Remember.
That's in the Still of the Night. I remember as a parenthetical in the Still of the Night.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right. That was before 2. I'm sorry.
Yeah. How dare you? Yeah, I know what you mean.
No, I mean I thought it was a pretty well put together. It's not my favorite R&B album, but like I said, it has a bunch of hits. Like you're right, it is like Thriller. It's a bunch of hits on there.
It's just so orchestrated.
Yeah, but I loved Unbended Knee though, man. I love Wanye, the way he carried that. Yeah.
I've lost my argument just like that. You just took my argument from me just off of that one song.
How can you forget about Unbended Knee?
And the song was late in the record. They went to Jam and Lewis looking for a begging record.
Yeah.
And they responded with that in 48 hours.
Yeah.
Jam and Lewis, though, like, they just.
I wonder how these producers. I wonder how these producers like. What is their thought? How did they put together the stuff so quickly? Like, how does that work? I would love to be in a room to see somebody put together a beat like from beginning to end, like from scratch.
There used to be, and I don't know if it exists anymore, but I mean, okay, first, as far as Bended Knee is concerned, Bended Knee is Tender Love Sideways.
Yeah.
So, which is one of the greatest R&B ballads ever in life, by the way. The Force MD's Tender Love.
Yeah.
Bended Knee is that Sideways. Many of the same chord changes in the same key too.
I never thought about that. That's a good.
Yeah, it's basically the same tune, just with different lyrics. But there used to be a video of Jam just sitting there at the keyboard, and his hands just land on something, some chord, whatever it is, and then he'll just kind of go from there.
Yeah.
And then Terry will start getting an idea for a lyric, because that's generally the way they split it up. Terry Lewis writes the lyrics, and Jimmy Jam writes the music.
Okay.
It seems to just flow from them. It's bizarre. And they're
Yeah, because I'm
basically the
just.
same person at this point. They've known each other forever. So
But even like when you look at like Babyface and Teddy Riley, it's like all these hits. It's like, how do you guys do this? Like, how do you get the time to do that for other people and do your own stuff? Like, you guys are like putting these. It's like you guys just sit down and boom, you got it, just like that. I mean, it's just what it seems like.
yeah, well, Babyface will come up with a chorus first. And
Okay.
why do I know this? He'll come up with a chorus first, and then his trouble is trying to find a verse that's as good as the chorus. So he'll
Yeah.
struggle with his verses a little longer than his choruses.
But not only that, but then like, how do you know like, hey, this song belongs to you? This song is yours. Like, this is you. This is what the song was made for. Like, just like,
Well, sometimes he doesn't. He was going to keep End of the Road for himself,
I'm
and
glad he
he
didn't.
talked out of it.
I'm glad he didn't.
Me too. It wouldn't have been the right thing for him. It wouldn't have done him any good at all.
Yeah.
And there've been a few like that he's done that were, I remember he was trying to give Whip Appeal to Pebbles. She wrote some of the lyric too, so it was kind of halfway intended for her.
Yeah.
And then he took it back, and he was right to do it because she can't
Didn't
sing.
he produced her first album, right? Girlfriend and Mercedes Boy. Was that him?
Yeah, I think that was him.
See,
At least a lot of it was.
and those don't even sound like Babyface records, to be honest with you. None of those. That sounds like more like a Paulo Abdul type of thing. Or
Let me see who it was, because I'm gonna be lazy and look it up. There it is, Pebbles. Yeah, it was LA and Face. Girlfriend was definitely LA and Face.
that doesn't even sound like a Babyface record at all.
Mercedes Boy is Pebbles, pretty much.
Okay.
But Always was Sembello, so that was somebody else.
Okay.
But yeah, no, that was definitely LA and Face. But yeah, she'd written some of the lyric to it, and they were gonna give it to her, and I'm really glad they didn't, because she can't sing.
No, she just looked good. She looked the part, kind of like Paulo Abdul.
She was
Just,
gorgeous, but
yeah.
just no voice at all. Nothing,
Yeah.
no voice to speak of.
Generic diva. You know.
Very, yeah. But I
Worse, even
mean,
worse.
go ahead.
Terrible manager. Terrible manager.
Yeah.
We'll get into that some other time, though.
That's a lot of a kind. I still remember Left Eye. This is how you can make $10 million and be broke.
Oh, the cutting room floor. Yeah.
From behind the music.
I mean, their first two albums sold up the wazoo, and they didn't make nothing off of that.
Nothing. They had to declare bankruptcy. I think they all had to,
Man, like, how
because they
does?
had nothing in the bank.
I mean, that just makes the records look bad.
Yeah, I don't think she's managed anybody since.
I, yeah.
I don't know what went wrong there. Maybe it wasn't all her fault. I don't know. I've never seen the paperwork, but man, it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
That does not look good.
Yeah.
So, but if we go back to like the Boys to Men conversation, because we dovetailed off that through Babyface, so it makes sense that we got there. But
Yeah.
like when it came to Boys to Men, they were so orchestrated, and even for a while they were wearing these college letter sweater vest
Yeah.
things.
That was the first album. They had the glasses and they had the.
But they did it even longer than that, because they would just have something else to wear, and they would all wear the exact same thing, and it was just so. It was just like it was just like a 4-man marketing strategy rather than an organic
Yeah.
thing.
But they actually formed in high school. I think. I mean, it was them that formed.
Yeah, it was the Performing Arts High School, but they also had. Remember, they also had a fifth
Mark
member,
Nelson.
Mark Nelson from As
Yeah.
Yet, who's
Yeah.
great, by the way. Like,
But I wonder what he had to been thinking. Like, he leaves the group and then he sees him blow up and he's just kind of stuck there. You know, he had a couple. You know, he had some solo records that were pretty good, but he never really just.
he can, and it's weird because he can sing his face off.
Well, he was in that group As Yet too. That were.
Last Night and Hard to Say I'm Sorry, and yeah.
And that sounds a lot like Boyz II Men too. So I mean, I don't. He probably should have just stuck it out with Boyz II Men. I don't know why he didn't, but
I don't either. His voice sounds like he fits. Something obviously went sideways, whatever it
Yeah.
was. He sings with them now, though, sometimes. Like, he'll join with them.
because Michael's not in the group no more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
he left for.
It's sad how
money.
they kind of had that falling out because he belongs in that group, man. He really
He does. He's done nothing since either, and they're not as good without him.
Yeah, because I think he had like something with his spine.
It was scoliosis, but then they were going to have like a reunion. They were going to try to get back together, but he wanted to be paid equitably, and they wouldn't do it because he'd been out of the group for so long, and it was just silly kid stuff.
And it's sad because these guys have known each other since high school. You know what I mean?
I know. Yeah, that's the real tragedy of it. It's not the music. It's just the personal relationships have gone sideways.
Yeah, I mean, I think Nathan Moore said that he's always welcome to come back, but I mean, we'll see what happens. But I
But they
would,
don't want to pay him what he's worth. But they want to get petty about it and be like, but you haven't been in the group the whole time, so why should you be paid X amount of
but I
dollars?
mean, he was there for all the big stuff, all the hits, and
He was, and the truth is, if he comes back, then all their pockets get fatter. If you
exactly,
stay by yourselves, they don't.
yeah, because you
Like,
don't have a base. I mean, I
no.
think I think who tries to do? I think Nathan tries to do bass for him now.
Nate does the bass when he has to, and he can
Yeah, but
sort of
it's
do it, but he's not a natural bass. He's a baritone if
yeah,
he's anything,
yeah,
and he
but
can sing. No shade, they can all still sing.
yeah, they're perfect together. Those guys were just perfect. Like
You
it,
need a bass.
yeah,
They should have replaced him with another bass. That's what they should
yeah,
have done. And they'd had other basses before. It's not like he was the only bass they'd ever had. One of the bass singers, and for some reason his name is left my brain. George Baldi was his name.
okay,
He went on to sing for a brief period of time with rockapella, believe it or not.
okay,
But he's a legitimate bass singer who has an incredible lead voice too. And
yeah,
they had him. He was part of the group at one point when they were going by another name
yeah,
before they picked up Mike and became Boys to Men.
yeah, yeah. I thought they were just ultra talented, but like we both have alluded to, they were kind of like an extension of the groups from the 50s and 60s. Kind of said updated sound a little bit, but they were, don't want to say manufactured, but they weren't really innovators per se.
Well, they didn't have their own sound. They had
Yeah, they
another
did. Yeah,
sound.
yeah, they just took something from the 60s, 70s, or the 50s and 60s and kind of brought it into the 90s with a little more updated sound and really, really good though. I loved it.
Oh, very. And they could sing. And I mean, clearly they'd taken their cues from a couple of different places. Because to me, and I think they've even admitted as much. Like, first of all, they took their cues from Take Six
Oh yeah, yeah.
because everyone did.
They came
And
out
then,
on feet. Yeah, take six, spread love. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, well, did virtually anything else. Like when
yeah,
when I was singing in groups, that's exactly who I took my cue from as a high tenor. I took my cue from Claude Mcknight. We all
yeah,
did it. But
yeah,
but then also from Carpenters.
yeah,
Their
yeah,
harmonies were very, very Carpenters.
yeah,
And that's where Jam and Lewis took their cues from too. When they arranged like Carpenters.
yeah, yeah. But like you said, nobody was doing what Jodeci was doing prior.
Nobody. Well, because when you get to them, like again, Boys to Men had to depend on other producers for an outside sound for a sound.
Yeah,
Jodeci didn't. Jodeci had Devante.
yeah.
That's all they needed. And I'm not quite sure what I'll Be Sure did on that first record because I can't tell.
Hmm.
He's listed as a co-producer. I have no idea what he did.
I don't either. You want
Because
to
on
hear?
those, go
You
ahead.
want to hear? You want to hear? Interesting fact about Jodeci too. They
Mm.
all signed with Death Row back in the mid '90s. That would have been interesting.
They did. I remember that. Yeah.
And it actually would have fit right in with the group for what they were doing on their second album. They have a song called Alone, right? And then the
Hmm.
next version of that, which is kind of like a dedication to the West Coast. And there's some cussing in it, and it's really raunchy. The lyrics kind of graphic, and I'm like,
Well, yeah, they got raunchy themselves after
yeah,
that
and,
first
and I'm like,
record.
that sounds like that could have been on Death Row.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I mean, if they would have landed on death row, who knows? I mean, because now, of course, now with hindsight being 2020, we
Yeah,
know what was happening over there.
yeah.
Who knows if they even survived that?
But man, I would have loved to see more songs with them and Tupac though. That would have been amazing. That would have been.
Yeah, how do you want it? Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was just Casey and JoJo at that point.
Yeah,
That
that's
wasn't
true.
even the
But it
group.
still kind of felt like a Jodeci thing, though. Very much so.
Well, that's because it was generally always their voices. That's another
Yeah,
instance where they were in the studio and yeah, there are four of them, but it was
yeah,
probably just Casey and JoJo doing the stacks.
yeah. But if you notice, though, when Case and JoJo, when they officially went on their own, they left the Jodeci sound completely behind. They actually became
You
more.
think so? Because
Yeah,
Tell
they
Me
were
It's
more.
Real is basically Jodeci.
Well, but they were more wholesome. They weren't as hip hop as they were, when they were with Jodeci. Like they had
True.
the
That's true.
raunchiness from their, they were more kind of geared towards the pop audience a little bit, like All My Life and Crazy. Those are more. I mean, the
I will,
R&B.
I
They
will
kind of.
never understand the popularity of All My Life.
You don't like this song?
I don't get it. It's so simple. It's just not. it just didn't do anything. Close to me, you're like my mother. Close to me, you're like there's just a lazy
Yeah, the
lyric.
lyrics were kind of cheesy. I'll give you that.
Really
Though.
cheese, and the music just isn't that much. And
But that's what I'm saying though. Like it was nothing like Jodeci, what Jodeci was doing a couple years prior to that,
I just never understood the popularity of that song. Others I get, like "Tell Me It's Real" is great.
Yeah, I like for what's the name of that song?
"Love Always,"
No, what
that's a
is
great song too.
I wrote you a letter.
Yeah, and it went this way. Yeah, that's it. "Love Always." That's the song.
Is the name of the song?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Last night's letter. I'm an idiot.
Yes, right. Yeah,
Last
yeah,
night's
yeah.
letter.
I knew
Sorry.
it had, I knew it had, yeah, I knew it had letter in it, but I just couldn't
I'm
think of.
wrong. My
Yeah,
bad. No, that song's great too.
yeah,
They had a bunch on their own that were "Crazy" was good.
yeah.
Actually, the remix for "All My Life" was really good.
I'll have to go back and listen to that because I don't recall that right off the top.
It didn't. It only came. It was only out for a little while, but I'll give him that all day long. But like the song itself, that's okay. Uh, so, but yeah, I mean, they Jodeci itself had a sound all their own. Lately was great. Their cover of Lately.
Yeah, and they had a I think their last official album together, just a moment. That was pretty good. It's like a wedding song. I think that
Mm.
was.
Yeah, and they did one not too long ago too that showed up on like a major label when nobody was expecting it to.
Well, didn't they reunited in 2014? The whole group did a song with B.O.B. And then there was another track, another single that they released. It got some play on the Quiet Storm stations.
Yeah, it did. But like they put out like a whole record. Only problem is now JoJo can't sing anymore.
Yeah. Well, he was never really like a, ooh, yeah. That was him basically.
Well, but he did a lot. He sang a pretty big part of Stay.
He did. Yeah, he did. But,
Um,
uh,
he didn't do really any of Forever My Lady. He sang a bunch. He sang all of You and I.
his voice didn't match his face. I don't know. It always threw me off. Like for some reason,
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. His voice never matched his face. I don't know what it was, man. But it always used to throw me off when I would listen to him. When I would see him sing on TV, I'm just like, that voice doesn't match him.
What I didn't realize at the time, because I hadn't seen them do interviews before up until
Excuse me
I
one
don't
second.
know.
Grab my charger.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
But what I didn't realize is that he was actually singing out of his speaking range so far. Like
Oh,
his
really?
call register is more, it's more what you are when you speak, because you speak a little lower than I do. So
Yeah.
it's more, you're more like I speak like a tenor sings. He doesn't.
Okay.
He speaks more, he's more like low tenor baritone.
Yeah.
So all that time that he was singing way up there, he was actually out of his comfortable range. And I never knew that. And that's probably
I
why
wonder why he.
out.
I wonder why he sang like that though.
Because tenor voices sell records. That's exactly why. Nobody wants to hear baritones sing. They want tenors. Tenors
Yeah.
get on the radio, baritones don't. Unless your name is KC.
Ooh, KC boy, he had that gospel soul
Yeah.
voice, man.
He is responsible for Cisco.
He is like there is no
Completely responsible for Cisco.
Drew Hill without Jodeci, man.
Nope, not a drop. Not a drop. But yeah, they do. Like when they had it, they had it. They were just complete and total fire. Speaking of that, since we brought it up already,
Mm-hmm.
Drew Hill, though.
Yep.
Gosh. I will admit something to you. I was
Okay.
late. I heard somebody sleep. I heard sleeping in my bed, or in. I think it's in my bed.
I remember that video. I'll never forget that video. I'll never forget that. I
But you
remember
mentioned. Go ahead.
I said that video, man, was the ending. I was like 11, 12 at the time.
Why were you watching that video at 11 and 12?
I saw a lot of things I probably shouldn't have saw when I was a little kid, man. But
It's like, oh, the things these eyes have seen.
yeah, pretty much, man. And I remember, yeah, that video was wild, man. The ending of that video didn't see that coming.
Yeah, well, but
But I like the remix more than the original, actually.
the remix is great. Yeah, that JD remix. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I heard sleeping in my bed and I thought it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
But it was, you mentioned earlier about like sometimes you hear things and they don't register right away.
Yeah.
Drew Hill was that for me. I didn't get it right away until
How's
I
that?
was in a car with a friend
Hmm.
and he played So Special.
Yeah.
And I went, what is that? Like, and I realized it was Drew Hill right away. And I went, what
Hmm.
have I missed?
Yeah.
And he had the CD in the car and he started playing the rest of it. And I loved everything I was hearing. Like I loved Five Steps. I loved, I loved April Showers.
What about Tell Me?
Tell Me I loved everything. Tell Me I
Yeah.
loved. Um, what else? My
Yeah.
brain's not doing it. But just that whole first record is just fire.
Beauty. No, that was the second
No,
record. Beauty was
second
this.
record.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that was Enter the Drew. That was later. But like April Showers is the best thing I heard from them ever up to that point because I love Woody's voice more than Cisco's or anybody else's, frankly, for that matter, in that group. I think he's got the best voice. There's
Yeah.
just something about it. It's not overtly technical, but there's something warm and fuzzy about it
Hmm.
that the other voices don't have, and I don't really want to be screamed at. And
Yeah.
Cisco screams a lot.
Yeah. He's good at it, but yeah.
He is good at it, and he knows how to make it work. But sometimes you just want to chill,
Yeah.
and Woody's the chill voice.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Like the beginning of Five Steps is just phenomenal.
Yeah. Drew Hill. They were what was the name of that song that they did on the Soul Food soundtrack? Um, We're Not Making Love No More.
Yeah, yeah.
That was
When
powerful.
yeah, that
Yeah.
song is great too. That's one of Cisco's better moments for real.
I heard Boyz II Men perform that song one time. That was pretty good too.
I believe that could be a Boys to Men song quite easily.
Yeah.
I can hear, and it's Babyface, so yeah.
Yeah.
He had them all at that point. They were all
Yeah,
just
man.
eating out of Babyface's hand at that point.
Yeah.
But then you get to the second record, and the second, for as good as that first record is, second one's just that much better. It's more of a production. They spent more money on it. That's
Hmm.
obvious. But it had Beauty on it. It had Diane Warren stuff on it. And What Do I Do?
Hmm.
It had Holding You on it. I'll Be the One. Um, the Love We Had. No, that's Blackstreet. My brain. What are we gonna do? Um,
What was the song on the Rush Hour soundtrack? How Deep Is Your Love?
How Deep Is Your Love? Yeah, it had
Yeah.
that too. Um,
What was that? What was that face for?
dirty somebody's.
Yeah.
Uh, what else? I'm missing things. Um, what was it? Can I play for you, baby? What
Oh, that's my favorite Drew Hill. Oh man.
what
Oh,
is it? Get it?
like last night I was hard. What
Yeah,
is?
yeah. What was it called?
Oh, I'm gonna have to look that up, man. I don't know. I can't think of the
I
name of.
have to. I'm looking it up now because we have to know. This is terrible. I feel so ashamed. Um, you are everything.
Okay, there was a
There it is.
Ja Rule on it too. I think.
That was a remix, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
because they did a much faster remix on it.
Yeah.
But like the greatest song on that album for me is Angel.
Yeah. That was a good song.
And it has that stupid interlude with Woody going, I've been singing the whole time, you just don't know it. And then he goes into the things I sang all the April showers. I sang,
Yeah.
I sang the first part of Five Steps. Like it's really funny. And then he launches into that tune. It's just such a good. These are the times.
Yeah.
I'ma forget that swallow you like Reese's Pieces line. Come on, girl, you know I need you.
Yeah. It's kind of sad what happened. It's kind of sad what happened to them, and they lost a lot of the royalties. I think a couple years ago,
What's that?
they lost the royalties. In what 2016, I think.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I'm like, how does stuff like that happen, man? Like they sang that was them. Like, how did they lose? How do you? Yeah, the music industry, man, is a beast, man. It'll swallow you whole.
How did they lose their royalties?
I have no idea, man, but I remember seeing that 3 or 4 years ago. It was posted. A couple of people on my timeline posted about it. Yeah,
Really?
yeah,
No wonder they have to be on the road as much as they are or
but
were.
that I remember they did an album in 2009, I think, um, which was okay, um, not exactly 2009 is well past their their prime. You know what I mean?
That was back when they had that was back when they had Teo.
Yeah, yeah,
And Scola was already gone by this point because
yeah.
apparently he quote unquote messed up the money. So
I don't know how that happens.
they
Like,
wanted to go back to 4. He could sing his face off. They had him as a 5th, and they
oh, that's
decided that
because
5 was too many and they dropped him.
yeah, because it was four of them, and then I think when Woody, because Woody he did gospel for a minute though, didn't he?
He did, yeah. He left and did, which broke my heart. But he left,
Yeah,
and then they brought in Scola to actually no. Scola was an also ran because Woody showed up on that 3rd record too. And
yeah,
then Woody left and Scola stayed. They went back to 4, and then they brought in Teo, and then they decided that 5 messed up the money. And then they let Scola go and kept Teo, and that's the right move. Teo's the better singer, but
and that
Scola,
might be why, and that reason right there might be why you don't see why there just aren't any groups anymore because I'm not sure how the money would be distributed. I'm not a record executive, nothing like that, so I wouldn't know. But I feel like it probably seems like there's probably more money just being a solo artist. I'm assuming.
well, it is because I mean that this is a whole other discussion too. But the truth is, there just isn't any money anymore.
It is so sad too, man, because I just feel like R&B is never gonna be what it was unless there's groups, you know what I mean, that can harmonize and sing.
You kind of have to have
I
that,
mean,
yeah.
I
But
mean, I'm not
like,
saying, yeah,
only way you can make any money, I mean, especially right now in the middle of a pandemic.
yeah,
Yeah, like what do you do? It was hard enough anyway.
yeah. I feel like after Drew Hill, Jagged Edge, 112, and Destiny's Child, that was
Jagged Edge,
this was the
gosh.
last of the really good R&B groups, and you know,
Yeah.
I mean, B2K, I don't even really count them, but
I would really appreciate you not cursing on this podcast so I don't have to remove it or edit it. Did you hear All I Do from them from B5?
oh, B5, they
I
were
to get
but that,
just
that was Puff Daddy's
one
group.
day.
That was Puff Daddy's group, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what that was exactly. Um, them kids probably didn't even know
I'll
who,
tell you what it was. It was an advertisement for Auto-Tune. That's what it was.
and they didn't even know who Troop was.
Not a clue. Well, no, they didn't know who the Jackson 5 were.
They
Because the
didn't know.
song, it's a Jackson 5
Yeah,
song.
but I mean, Troop was the one who popularized it, though. I mean, they're the ones who kind of really made it their.
Yeah, oh, of course. Yeah.
You don't hear the
Chucky
Jackson
Booker
Five
and
because you don't hear the Jackson 5 version no more. That was one of their singles that really didn't really do all that well anyway. But yeah,
no, and they were doing a riff on the Troop version of the tune. They were doing a riff on the Chucky Booker
yeah,
version, not
exactly. And I'm like,
not
they
the
didn't know who
Jackson
Troop
5 version.
was. Yeah, they didn't last very long.
Well, it was because they were terrible. I mean,
And
Darkchild got them into the studio and his brother, and they did the best they could. But if you listen to the tune, it's the vocal track is a disaster because like
mhm,
every line is edited in. There are words that are split up to
yeah,
make it work. The whole thing is covered with auto tune.
yeah,
You can tell that they were coached exactly how to sing
yeah,
rather than like just feeling it like you're supposed to. You
yeah,
could tell that LaShawn Daniels, who was the vocal producer, was telling them exactly what to do and how to do it.
yeah.
It just the whole thing felt so coached, and it sounds terrible. It doesn't feel like anything. I don't believe you. Like
And I don't know why they thought that was gonna be why they thought that was gonna work. Like I don't know what they were trying to draw from or what they were trying to tap into there, but I just
they
like
wanted the little kids to buy their records. The little kids aren't going to care.
yeah. I mean, it's I don't know if that was. I mean, I've seen we saw like kids do sell. Obviously, New Edition. The boys. Sometimes those groups do immature. They sell, but
Well, the boys could really do it. New Edition
yeah,
was
they had talent.
basically Ralph Tresvant and Ricky Bell
Yeah,
and
they
Bobby
had talent.
Brown and nobody else.
But yeah, I don't man B5 man that was um horrible. I mean, they made Pretty Ricky look like the Temptations, man.
They really did.
Good
That's an
lord,
accurate way
man.
to say it. They
Yeah,
were terrible. I never understood. Well, they were pretty. That's
yeah.
why they went with it because they were pretty.
You know who had some potential, but
Hmm.
I kind of knew it wasn't gonna work. Day 26. They were decent. I thought they were decent.
They were so good.
Yeah.
They were so
And
good.
that was Puffy's thing too.
Yeah, it
I don't
was, and that's why it wasn't going to work.
yeah, but I mean he did so well with 112 though. I mean,
Yeah, but remember how they split from him too. There was a lot of acrimony there. They were trying to get away from him,
Yeah.
and they never quite did it. Even when they signed to Def Soul or Def Jam,
Hmm.
he still had a piece of them. He didn't truly let them go.
Yeah. I wonder what happened there, man. Like,
Money, it's always that. I mean, this was like at the time they tried to leave, Puff Daddy had lost his touch, completely lost his touch.
yeah, because he was. I think everybody had left.
Mace was gone.
Yeah.
Loon was in jail.
Shine was in prison. Black Rob.
Shine went to jail.
Yeah, Black Rob kind of. I don't know what happened to him. Didn't Faith Evans left him too? Didn't he? Didn't
Yep.
she?
She took off. She went to Capitol,
Yeah.
where all artists go to die, by the way.
Now he's at MGK.
Yeah, that matters now. Craig Mack.
Well, he really didn't last very long anyway. He did Flavor for Your Ear, did the remix, and
Yeah.
but he didn't. Yeah, he kind of his second album, he just kind of disappeared basically.
But I don't even think he tried because he went straight from Craig Mack to BIG
Yeah, yeah.
and just forgot about Craig. Like, he's like, "What's a Craig? Never heard of it." Like, he just completely forgot about him. He didn't give him another. He never got a chance.
The Big Mac. That's what they were labeled. Craig Mack and Biggie, the Big Mac. Remember
Yeah,
that?
basically, yeah.
Yeah.
And let's be real here. Like, Biggie took some of Craig's thing too. Like,
Yeah.
just to be real about it,
But Biggie was just a much better rap. I mean, Biggie was phenomenal,
he had
man.
more to say.
Yeah.
He
And
had
just
so much more to say.
his wordplay was off the charts though, man. His
And he did it with a speech impediment too.
yeah.
That's not easy. Like, to rap as fast as he was sometimes through a speech impediment. Like,
Yeah, because I remember he jumped on the trunk with Bone Thugs and Harmony, man, and he was keeping up word for word.
he was, yeah. I mean, his rhythms were not theirs, but he was keeping up.
Yeah, yeah. You're right though. Puffy lost his touch, man. By B5 was that's probably one of the worst ideas ever. Like I said, I don't know what they thought they were going to accomplish with that.
It was all image over substance. He took them because they were pretty, and it completely blew up in his face. Nothing worked.
You know who they look like? The Jets. That's what they look like.
Yeah, they did. That is accurate. The male version of the Jets.
Because the Jets were co-ed though, right? They had
Yeah, they were. Yeah, it was the Wolfgram family. They were all
yeah,
related.
yeah.
There was like 10 of them, I think, or something.
We'll have to dive into 80's R&B one of these days, man. That could go on forever too.
Yeah. And the Jets, by the way, still exist. I remember, funny story. I went to King's Dominion, and King's Dominion had like a show place. I don't know if it does anymore or not. This was ages ago. This was 1992. It was 1992 because I was working at the TV station. And I remember we went into the park, and they had like this show place on the left. When you get your tickets, you go straight in, and to the left, there's this path you take to go to the show place, which is like a concert venue, like an outdoor amphitheater kind of thing. And they had like a sign for the Jets, and it said "show canceled."
Oh, yeah, because it never
And
really.
I wondered what happened. I asked at the ticket booth. They're like, "Yeah, we couldn't sell enough tickets."
That was in '92. You said.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think after crushing you and there was a couple other singles they weren't able to
You
duplicate.
Got It All and
Yeah, they weren't able to
Make It
duplicate
Real.
that.
And
Yeah, I mean they were. I thought they were a solid group. I mean, I have some of their stuff from the late '80s, early '90s, but yeah,
I do too. You Got It All is classic.
yeah, but
Which, by the way, fun fact, was written by the guy who sang Pina Colada.
I believe it.
That's his song.
Yeah, that makes sense. That doesn't shock me at all.
It's completely R&B though. He just wrote an R&B tune, like
Yeah,
from Pina Colada to this. Like,
'80s R&B was kind of is a weird thing because it I don't know. '80s R&B is kind of hard because it's like you have like your DeBarge and the Jet. You had a lot of co-ed groups. You don't see that no more.
like family groups, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like you just don't see that more. Who was Loose Ends? They were kind of co-ed, and there was SOS Band. They were the same thing. You don't
True.
just a weird dynamic with '80s R&B. Just everybody completely different from the other group though. Everybody sounded different.
Yeah, that's true. But like by the 90s, the Jets were just kind of,
Yeah.
they didn't exist anymore.
Did any groups from the '80s make it into the '90s that were successful? Because I know, besides New Edition, obviously, but like Ready for the World, they by the time New Jack Swing hit, they were dead. Force MDs didn't release it.
They only had 3 songs, I think, ready for the world. What, they had Oh Sheila, um, Can You Do It Like This, Let Me Love You Down. What else did they
They had
have?
a couple. They had a couple other hits too, I think, but because their first 2 albums did pretty well, but it was the third album that completely flopped. Like I said, a lot of groups in the '80s didn't survive New Jack Swing. Once New Jack Swing took over, a lot of those groups just got swallowed whole. I mean, they got left in the dust.
Yeah, that's true. Well, and they were such Prince ciphers too. That didn't help. They just sounded like Prince.
I always thought that Prince had like something to do with them, but he didn't, though, did he?
It had nothing to do with them at all. No.
Yeah, I always thought the same thing that they had like a kind of sound like Prince a little bit.
Oh Sheila is a Prince tune. Come
Yeah,
on.
the whole yeah, exactly.
It sounds exactly even down to the 808 they used for the drum sound. Like
Yeah,
it's just Prince. It's completely
sounds
Prince.
like Presley Park or what is it? The other song that they have. Yeah, he has a few songs that sound like that though.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, yeah. And they all use that same drum machine. Like
Yeah.
this is really Prince aping is what this is. So, it was good though. I mean, I can't hate on it.
Yeah.
It was good.
Surface didn't make it into the '90s either. Another one.
Well, but Surface sold themselves out hard
Did they?
because the first time is a pop. It's a good song. I'm not suggesting that the first time isn't good, but it's a pop song.
Yeah. I like that track with Regina Bell though. I always like that one. Um,
Remind me.
You're My Everything. What's the name of that song? I know it's Regina Bell's on it though. Um,
I don't
it's
remember.
been sampled. It's been sampled to death. I'm at the cheat here and look at it, but um, came out like in the late '80s. That was probably the last hit.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I have to find it. Let me see what is it on second wave. Yeah, You Are My Everything. I was right. Yeah,
I didn't hear it. I missed it.
you've heard it before. I'm sure you have. It'll come back to you if you've heard it.
I'll have to check it out. But they had like a bunch of pop things that like Never Gonna Let You Down as a pop song.
Yeah,
Like they
yeah,
just kind of went straight pop, and then I can't remember anything right now. It just went right out of my brain. Bernard Jackson. He left. He's the lead singer. He left the group and went solo, signed to Arista, and Clive didn't know what to do with him,
yeah.
and he got dropped. He only put out
Happens a
like
lot too. It happens a lot.
and that broke up the group. Then they didn't come back together, and that was kind of the end of it. One of them passed away.
Oh, did they? It's unfortunate.
The sax player passed away.
I forgot one more group I wanted to throw out there. Because I listened to one of their songs today. High Five.
High Five is one guy.
Yeah, I like them. I like them a lot though.
It's only
I like
Tony.
the one that passed away.
Yeah, it's only Tony Thompson. That's the only one. It's only Tony. Nobody else.
They had a lot of issues, man. I didn't realize they had so many legal issues, man. They were getting in trouble and
Did you
all
see
kinds.
the unsung episode on them?
One of the dudes committed murder, I think.
Yeah.
Or they could because, and I'm just like, man, you would like listen to his interviews and stuff. Like you would never think that.
So did not realize that Waco was that deep, but apparently it is. Like,
Yeah, I'm just like, dude, like, what are you doing?
yeah.
Yeah, I like the way it's a classic. That's timeless.
Can't wait another minute though.
Yeah, yeah. I like just can't handle it. I know it's kind of corny. He's trying to date an older chick, but I love the bass in the song too. Like I like that song a lot.
I know the guy who produced it. He's a friend of mine.
Really?
Yeah, James Everett. It's a
Is he
fantastic
still
song.
is he still producer or what?
Yeah, he still works. Yeah,
Okay.
on a slightly
Okay.
smaller scale, but he does still work. Yeah, but that's his.
Yeah.
Yeah, just can't handle it. But
Yeah.
then there was also the best high five tune that I can remember is Never Should Have Let You Go.
That was mid '90s, right? That was kind of going further down the line with
That
him.
was on the Faithful record. Yeah.
Yeah. That was what, 94, 95?
That would have been, let me look. Faithful High Five album. Let's see. Not really, actually. 93.
Was it
Close
93?
enough. Yeah, it was 93.
Yeah. Didn't have I liked Unconditional Love. I like that one a lot too.
Yeah, at the end of the record with the Verispeed on it.
Yeah.
That weird harmony that starts it. Because it's just him with a pitch shifter on it.
Yeah. Yeah, high
It's
five, man.
because there were no other singers in the group. There
Yeah.
really was only, this was one of those instances. And of course, I mean, they existed before, but like there's this picture of like 5 guys and none of them sing except Tony.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, all you really need is just one guy that can sing and the rest can just emote good enough to get by.
Well, but in the studio, they didn't. Like all the harmonies were him.
Yeah.
It was all just him, except Never Should Have Let You Go is him and Joe, because Joe produced the record. Joe Thomas.
Oh, Joe. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. All the Things Your Man Won't Do.
I didn't know that.
I Want to Know.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. I did not know that.
That song though. Sorry. Flashbacks.
Yeah. We'll jump into solo artists another time. Yeah, we'll definitely. Yeah.
It's a problem, but that to me, like Never Should Have Let You Go is like the gold standard.
Yeah.
That's just as good as they ever got. I believed them. The lyric is good. The production is great. The vocal sound is like, it's huge. It's like 10,000 voices deep. It's huge.
Yeah.
Great production. They never did better than that. And if you've seen them, it's funny. There's a clip online of them doing "Can You Stand the Rain?" with Tony Thompson, of course, is long gone, and they've replaced him with someone. But what they did was, I kid you not, they lip synced to the New Edition record.
Oh,
so they're like lip syncing to somebody else's voices.
Like, come on, man! Like we can definitely tell a difference. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's so funny, and they have not aged well. Bless their hearts. Like,
yeah.
Time has been cruel. So, but you know, when Tony was there, they had it. But the group was basically just Tony.
Yeah. And I feel like we can go on forever, man. There's just so many groups, you know.
I know. I think actually, the good news is I think I'm through my list anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I got through my. Well, actually, we didn't talk about Blackstreet.
Oh yeah, we got them.
We talked about that privately.
Yeah, I liked SWV a lot. I liked In Vogue. I mean,
sure.
Yeah, In Vogue, man, they were like an extension of those old female groups, but they had a In Vogue reminded me of the Emotions. They were like the 90's version of the Emotions.
They were, but they were even better. Like that's one of the best female vocal groups, and believe it or not, Jade was every bit that good. Yeah. But In Vogue was just on. I mean, My Lovin' You're Never Gonna Get It. Like that's 90's. It fits. It's 90's.
Yeah. I'll never. But my favorite one is always going to be "Giving Them Something You Can Feel." I know that
the Aretha Franklin tune. Yeah, Giving Him Something.
But they took it and made it their own, man. Like
they did.
Yeah, I remember being a little kid, man, and yeah, that's when I was like, yeah, I want to be a man right now. That's when
dead
one right there, man. Yeah, In Vogue, man. I like
mine is Don't Let Go, Love.
What's it
gonna be?
Oh, that guitar riff.
Yes, he knows.
Man, In Vogue, yeah. I always go back because I like when I always think about the top groups, female groups in the 90's. I always go back and forth between In Vogue and SWV.
I know. I stay right there. I stay
really.
I'm good there.
I don't know, man.
SWV I love was good, but I just like SWV's problem is that like, and it wasn't their fault, but the record label decided that they only had one singer, and they didn't. They really had 3. Like Coco could sing, sure, but Lily could.
Yeah.
Maybe the other one is missing me. Shame on me because she's great. What's her name?
I can't think of her name right now.
Dang it, that's wrong. That's a bad answer. I gotta find it.
But yeah, I like because I always liked Weak, and I always liked I'm Right Here.
Yeah. Taj. I couldn't think of it. Forgive me, Taj. Because
I like the openings.
She did the bridge. I didn't cut you off, but she did the bridge in Use Your Heart. That was her.
Oh, that was the second album, right?
Yeah. The New Beginning record.
Yeah.
But she did the bridge. She sang that bridge all by herself, and it's great.
Oh, okay.
It's so good. That's all her. Like finally she's getting a chance to sing.
Yeah. Yeah, SWV. My mom said she met them at a club one time, probably like back in '94 or something like that. Yeah,
Oh wow.
yeah. But I
That's
remember
really
because my mom used to play the hell out of In Vogue, man. In Vogue, Whitney Houston were always in heavy rotation in her car, man.
yep. We all had that Born to Sing cassette. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
And then I had the 12-inch for Never Gonna Get It because it had remixes that are great.
yeah,
I think I still have it down there. In fact, yeah, I do. I'm sure I do.
yeah. I wish they would all get back together. The original four. I know they
Apparently, Dawn's got quite the attitude, and
really.
that makes it prohibitive. Yeah.
See, that's
Because
unfortunate,
remember
man.
when she moved to Lucy Pearl, that didn't last long either.
Yeah, because I remember Rafi Sadiq, man. He went on 106 in Park like after they broke up, and he had some harsh things to say about her.
Yeah.
Which is
It's a
weird because Sadiq is pretty low key and he's pretty chill. Kind of like what you said about Teddy Riley.
he
When he
kind of doesn't talk. Yeah.
was Sadiq,
Yeah, he doesn't really
yeah,
talk like that. That's not him. So for him to go
exactly.
to that trouble,
Yeah,
homegirl got a problem. Like
yeah. Who else was in that group? I think what's his name from Tribe Called Quest? One of the members from that group was
Ali
in.
Shaheed. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
I,
he was one
I
of
always
the
thought that was a I
producers.
always thought that was a pretty cool concept. Take a couple people, take a somebody from this group from the '90s, somebody from this group in the '90s, kind of combine them. I always like that concept.
That should have worked. And they had jams too, like Dance Tonight is great.
You, Snoop
Don't
Dogg, and Q-Tip.
yes. Don't mess with my man.
Yeah,
There were so many good ones, and it just fizzled after that one record.
yeah.
So, so I think we've exhausted our list, and who knows how long we've gone on. This will be split into parts because it's so
Okay. Yeah.
but uh but anyway, let's go ahead and end this one.
All
So
right.
this has been fun. We'll have to do this again with another topic. We could do like 1,000 topics.
Oh yeah, most definitely. We'll have to. Yeah.
We got
We
to do favorite albums too. We got to hit that one up.
Yeah, we should do that, and we should do like IG battles we want to see, or maybe we can also do that. We can do our favorite era of R&B. Because I love the '90s because I grew up in that era, but to me the '70s has a legacy.
Yes.
The '70s.
See, we're gonna agree, and then we won't be able to talk because we won't be able to fight each other.
Yeah, but the '70s, man, you can break that up into like two or three different categories because obviously the early '70s is
Mm,
an extension of the late '60s, like with most eras. But once you get into like the mid '70s, you get into orchestras and you get into bands and things like that. So it kind of took you had Parliament and Funkadelic and man,
true.
started in the '70s, man.
We
Like it's
could.
I grew up in that era. I'm always gonna hold that dear to my heart. But the '70s was a whole nother level, man. That's prime Stevie Wonder, prime Marvin Gaye. You just yeah. Donnie. Me and you both love Donnie. So
Yeah, that's another hour right there. Just
yeah,
on Donny Hathaway.
yeah.
So, all right, let's shut this one down and we'll do another one soon. Anyway, this has been
All right.
Ed and that is Dre. And this was The Front, and we will catch y'all the next time.